What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com, PlayPicks.com. Doing something a little different here. Going to go live. We are live here on the YouTube channel. Going to make sure that everybody has a chance to get in here and take a look at what all is going on. Of course, if there's any problems or anything like that, let me know in the chat. But it seems like we are good to go here. Give people a few minutes to hop in should they want to hop in here. But we're going to do some last minute thoughts here on everything that's going on with Super Bowl 55, Chiefs and the Bucs. So we shall see how many people hop in, and we'll get going here fairly shortly. Steve is in the chat here. Good. Glad to have you, my friend. And yes, let's make some money. I hope we do make some money tonight. This is fairly confident about this thing. So tweet this out real quick, and then we'll get going. All right, guys. So listen, Super Bowl 55. It's here. It is the Bucs and the Chiefs. Listen, I have spent. If you've looked at any of the content on the channel over the last little bit, I mean, this has been. I've been looking for reasons to go against the Chiefs. I was trying to find a reason to get on the Bucs side of things. You know, I was pretty much on the Chiefs from the second this line got released. I got in at 3 real early. I thought this thing was going to run to 3.5. I thought it maybe would even get to 4. It touched 3.5 several different times over the course of the last couple of weeks. But really, when it all came down to it, we're looking at kind of what we're looking at. We're sitting at 3 here. I can go ahead and show you where we sit right now. Do a little screen share on the deal here, and you can see. We're sitting at 3. So it is 3 at DraftKings. It's 3 at William Hill, 3 at FanDuel, 3 at an MGM, points bet everywhere across the board. Now, this was heavily juiced for a while as well, right? I mean, this was heavily juiced on the side of the Chiefs, and we've seen this now get back to where it's basically 110 on both sides across the board. So we saw that money come in as we expected. Now, if we take a look at the money line here, you can see that it started to fall a little bit as well. Now, this is typical of what happens in the Super Bowl, right? Because what happens is casual bettors want to come in and they want to bet a little to win a lot, or they at least want to get back more than what they put down, right? So what we see is a lot of times is the underdog money line is bet pretty heavily by the public. And so what it presents is a little bit of value on the money line for a favorite. So you can see right here, we're at 156 over at DraftKings, 156 over at FanDuel as well on the money line for the Chiefs. That's about as good as I've seen it in a long time. We were 159 earlier in the week. It's been sitting more in the 160s, 170s for the last week and a half. And so let's go ahead and, if we want to play that, I think I'll wait just a little bit longer to see if any more dog money comes in. But that's about as good as it's going to be. And so I'm probably going to get back down here. I was holding out to get down on the money line because, again, typically, historically, the way that this has gone, it has been that we're looking at value on the favorite money line the later it comes, because the casual money always tends to be on the dog on the money line. So I'm going to hold out for maybe another hour or so, and then I'm going to get on the Chiefs on the money line. I'll be looking for something 155 or lower. If that pops, then that's where I'll be on that as well. As far as the total goes, you can see we're pretty much 56 across the board. There is a 55.5 here at BetMGM and at FanDuel, actually. Oh, look at that. That just popped as well. So if you're looking for an over, you do have 55.5 over here on FanDuel and BetMGM, 56 across the board at all of these other books. And so that's kind of where we sit on as far as the totals and the odds and the money line and things like that. Spread 3 across the board. So I'll turn that off, pop back on here, and looking down here, let's see. Number one rusher, Steve asked, number one rusher for tonight. My best guess would be kind of the chalk play in Leonard Fournette, because I don't expect the Chiefs to run very much, to be perfectly honest with you. Whenever we take a look at what this Bucs defense does really, really well, what they do really, really well is defend the run. And so I'll give you guys a little look at this thing that I just make up each week to kind of take a look at the varying statistics and stuff. And so I'll pop open this tab, we'll take a look at that, and boom. So you can see right here, this is just a matchup sheet that I make. And so this is the Kansas City offense versus the Tampa Bay defense. And so you can see, I mean, look, Kansas City, as you would expect, this is absolutely what we would expect here, right? You know, number 2 overall offense DVOA, number 5 overall offense, according to Pro Football Focus, number 5 Pro Football Focus against the pass, number 2 Pro Football Focus passing offense, number 2, whatever. So listen, they're really, really good. But look at this Tampa Bay defense. 5 overall DVOA, 5 according to Pro Football Focus, but right here, look at this. I mean, rush defense, number 1 overall rush defense DVOA, according to both advanced metrics, really good against the pass as well. But if you take a look at what the Kansas City does, they're really good at the pass as well. And I expect Kansas City to just continue to do what they do best, which is pass the ball. And so if you look on the other side here, this is the Tampa offense versus the Kansas City defense. You can see the glaring holes right here in rush defense. Rush defense DVOA, 31st overall in the league, according to DVOA. Is this Kansas City defense 23rd overall, according to Pro Football Focus in their rush defense. If you look, their run stop win rate right here down at 26th in the league. They're tackling down at 22nd. So if there is an Achilles heel to this team, it really is the rush. It really is their rush defense. And shockingly, I think it kind of went under the radar, but maybe because they just didn't do it a ton, and maybe it was because Ronald Jones was in and out of the lineup, and Leonard Fournette really didn't come on here towards the end of the season. But you can see the efficiency right here of this rush offense from the Bucs. I mean, they were 10th overall DVOA and 11th overall according to Pro Football Focus. If you look down here, it's just it's pretty interesting. I don't think people would have really realized that when it came to this team as to how good at least efficient they were running the ball. So I'm thinking we're just going to go chalk here and say if I was looking for the number 1 rusher, I think it's just going to be Leonard Fournette. I think that you're going to be looking at Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City team doing what they do best, which is passing the ball. And it would not shock me if they went out and threw the ball maybe 8 out of every 10 downs, to be perfectly honest with you, which is one of the prop plays that I played. So I can kind of get into some of this other stuff. Well, I am on over 40.5 pass attempts for Patrick Mahomes. It's a guy, he averaged 39 pass attempts per game as it was anyway, right? He was averaging 39 pass attempts per game. I expect at least a 10% bump, if not more. I think it's conservative for me to expect a 10% bump here, and might be as much as 15 or 20% bump as far as pass attempts in this game. I can't see Andy Reid and them going out and going up against this Bucs run defense that has been one of the very best in the league all year long, and literally a top 5 unit all year long, and just banging 2 yards at a time into the middle of that line. I just don't see them doing that. I think they're going to try to do what they do, far more efficiently, which is pass the ball. And so I'm on Mahomes pass attempts over 40.5. If that's still available for you, I like that bet at 41.5. Like I said, even if I bump this thing 15% from where, the average is, that's still an over on 41.5. It's not quite as great of an edge, but I honestly think it's more of like a 20% bump. And so, it wouldn't surprise me if we see 45 pass attempts here by Patrick Mahomes in this game. So I'm on the over on that one as well. So looking down here, I see any other Antonio Brown props. So I'm on all the unders, and this is me just kind of guessing and reading the tea leaves, and this, I could be wrong. So if you don't want to tail this or if you think I'm an idiot, it's fine. I totally get it. But look, this is a dude who had to miss a game with this knee injury because it didn't work out for him. Then he didn't get into full practice until Thursday of this past week, and he was limited in practice. And at one point we had Bruce Arians, and maybe there's a little bit of shenanigans going on, and maybe this was him just kind of playing mind games. But he also said, we had a long way to go to get Antonio Brown, ready to go in this game. And then you add in the fact that Scotty Miller and Tom Brady have a really, really good connection, right? So I can't imagine they're just going to completely toss Scotty Miller aside and not get him in the game. So I'm on unders on Antonio Brown. I don't know if he could be used as a decoy in this game. We really don't know how serious this knee injury is now that he's had 2 weeks to prepare for it, and they're certainly not going to be completely forthright with us and let us know. But here's the thing: if he goes out there and runs one route, if we have unders, then our bets are live. So if he runs a few routes and decides that knee can't go, we still cash all these under tickets. So I'm on all unders for Antonio Brown. So let's see. Ryan says if the Bucs don't establish a run game, they're finished. I think that's probably the case. I'm really, really thinking that they're going to try to run the ball as much as they possibly can. Looking down, I can go ahead and just give you. Of course, I'm on the Chiefs -3. Like I said, I'm on the Chiefs on the money line. A couple of the other props that I'm on Tom Brady over a half a yard rushing. If you can find that, you might can still find that at plus money at whatever book that you're looking at. And actually, this is a pretty good time to show you guys another thing here. If you want to go to the lines, this is invaluable here for you guys. So when you go to the lines, go to the homepage, and then this little button right here that says Prop Finder. And so if you're in one of the legal markets, just like click on whatever your state might be or something like that. We'll just stay in New Jersey, but I can just type in a dude's name, any dude's name. So we'll come into Tom Brady right here, and then look, it just pops up all of his props at all the books and stuff. So it saves you a ton of time, and you can kind of, take a look at all that. But you can see rushing yards, it is still plus money at a lot of the books here for over a half a yard rushing on Tom Brady. Actually, at FanDuel, you can still get plus 128 right here. So the reason I'm on this one at plus 128, and the reason I'm on over a half a yard rushing, we're talking about Tom Brady, who is legitimately one of the greatest quarterback sneakers of all time, if not the greatest quarterback sneaker of all time. So what we're looking at is any 3rd and 1, any critical 3rd and 1, any critical 4th and 1. Maybe we get to a situation where we're down at the goal line from the 1 yard line. We know we've seen Tom Brady sneak it in a million times from the 1 yard line, but we also, I think, are going to have more opportunities as well. It's the Super Bowl. There's nothing to hold back, right? And the Bucs aren't going to win this game by being conservative. They're going to have to go for it on a 4th down or 2 in this game. And if they get down to where it's 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 in a critical situation, it's Tom Brady time, right? It's Tom Brady territory. And so I'm expecting at least 1 quarterback sneak in this game, if not 2 from Tom Brady. And just the efficiency that he's had over the course of his career is why I'm on the over half a yard for him. And also this is correlated to the fact that I'm on the Chiefs, right? So I don't think that the Bucs are going to win the game. So I'm not worried about losing that yard because of Tom Brady's going to be taking a knee, right? So anybody that had Patrick Mahomes over rush yards last year knows the pain of taking the knee at the end of the game. He was well over his rushing prop. He decides to take these big exaggerated knees as they were running out the clock there to win the game last year, and it went from being an over to being an under. I'm on the Chiefs, so I don't think the Bucs are going to win. So I don't think this game ends on a Tom Brady kneel down. So I'm not worried, even if Tom Brady only has 1 yard rushing in this game, that I'm going to lose it because he ends up kneeling the ball at the end of the game. So on that one as well, which is another one. So Joe, you asked the reason I expect 2 quarterbacks. Like I said, I just at least 1 through the course of the game. And then if we look at this, just the situation, right? Like where we're at in this game, like where we are in the season, like there's nothing to hold back. You're going to be more aggressive. You're going to be going for it more, I think, on short yardage situations as opposed to punting. I think that Arians is sharp enough to know that punting, on 4th and 1 is not going to be, plus EV for them to win this game. And so, again, I'm just going with what I believe that's going to be the game plan here for this Bucs team. So I like the over half a yard with this. Let's see. Craig's asking to play on Tampa Bay or Kansas City over under. So I don't have a play on the total, to be perfectly honest with you. If I had to have one, I would hold an over ticket, but I actually am more on I have an under team total on the Bucs. I have an under 27 of team total on this Bucs team. That's really the only total play that I made in this one, and it's a smaller one as well. I think there's a chance that this thing could get into a shootout, which is why I didn't play that one very heavily. But I also think that there's a pretty good chance that we could see this team struggle a little bit. I mean, look, Brady, as awesome as he was during the regular season, and he was, I mean, kind of under the radar. I think I'm guilty of this, but I thought Brady might have been done, and instead he goes out and has a top 5 season according to Pro Football Focus of all quarterbacks in the NFL. But he didn't look very sharp these last couple of games, and if you look at what this Chiefs defense did against the Bills, they had Josh Allen under pressure. It seemed like every damn drop back, right? I mean, it seemed like every single drop back you had Josh Allen like running for his life, right? Well, we know that's not going to happen for Tom Brady. He self-sacks, right? If he feels the pressure, he just falls over. So he's just going to fall over and self-sack. Also, from a clean pocket this year, Tom Brady was the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. While under pressure, he falls from the 3rd best quarterback to the 30th ranked quarterback, 30th out of 36 qualifiers for that stat. So the Chiefs were doing all kinds of exotic blitzes. They were doing these crazy looks that kept the Bills offensive line all kinds of confused. There was an interview with one of the Bills offensive linemen this week that I listened to where he said they just completely disguised everything they did. What we were watching on film was not what we were getting out there on the field. They were moving guys around. They were taking big guys and moving them and putting little guys in their spot and doing all the different things like that. And it really just confused them a ton. And so, so anyway, that's just another reason that I'm on that one as well. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Let's see. As far as Mahomes rushing yards, so I see Steve asked about Mahomes rushing yards. It has crept up a ton. So that's the only problem with it, betting it this late, right? Because it opened like 18.5, 19.5 at a lot of places. And I know we look and we say, like, oh, it's only 4 yards or 5 yards. But when we're talking about quarterback runs where, especially a guy like Mahomes, where maybe there's one design run a game, all of his yardage comes off of broken plays or scrambles and things like that. It's a lot, right? I mean, like the difference in 4 and 5 yards is just a ton. It's not like a guy like a Josh Allen or a guy like a Lamar Jackson or anything where we can guarantee that they're going to have X number of designed quarterback runs in a game. And then the other part with this is we still haven't heard a ton about it here over the last couple of weeks, mainly because we've been, all the other noise that's going on, but we still don't exactly know about the toe, right, with Patrick Mahomes. He looked pretty fine in that game against the Bills, but turf toe is a really long healing injury. Like it takes a long time for that thing to get back to normal. So another reason why I actually didn't play that one. I mean, the lean is always to the over with Mahomes because he's going to do whatever he can to extend plays, and he's going to do whatever he can whenever he gets flushed out of the pocket. And what he's so good at as well, and you guys have seen this, is like getting those extra 3 yards. He gets along the sideline, and then he'll do that deal where it looks like he's going to dip out of bounds, and the defender lets up a little bit, and then he just gets those extra 2 or 3 yards, which I think is a little cheap because you can't hit these quarterbacks close to the sideline, but he's a master at that. The only problem is, again, I don't know enough about this toe injury. And again, it's the worst of it at this point, looking at the 23.5 as opposed to where the 18.5 or 19.5 where this thing opened. So that's kind of where I am on that one. So let's take a look. Let's see. What do you think about what do you think of 3-leg parlay? So look, I don't bet a ton of parlays, obviously, but I understand that this is just a fun, this game. It's the last game of the year. You want to have some fun. You want to do some stuff. So like if there's some fun bets you want to make, look, the first time touchdown is always just a fun bet because you're sweating the first score of the game. And that's always a pretty fun one to have. And you can also do, most of these books allow just like not even just first score, but first score for the individual teams. And so those are pretty good as well because the reason I have a problem with just the first score is you pick a guy on the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, whatever it might be. But then they win the toss, they defer, and they give the ball to the Bucs. The Bucs go down and they score, and then your bet's dead without your team even possessing the ball, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of tend to go to the team ones, and they don't pay as well as just the overall first touchdown, but at least it gives you a chance if you pick one of the Chiefs or pick even the Bucs, whatever team you pick or whatever player you pick, at least there's a chance they're going to be able to possess the ball that you can win your bet, as opposed to, the other team going and scoring first, and then you get the shaft because your guy never even touched the ball. Now, as far as the touchdown props and things like that, as far as receiving props, let's go over those. I have Kelce over 7.5 receptions. That is still available, I am pretty sure. So we'll go back to this tab over here, the prop finder over on the lines. And again, if you're just joining, all you got to do from the homepage of the lines, there's this little button right here, prop finder. And so we'll take a look. Travis Kelce, receptions. Yeah, so the 7.5 is still available at William Hill and MGM. Now, you're definitely going to want to take it at MGM instead of William Hill. Minus 179 on the over, as opposed to 133 on the over here at MGM. So here's the deal about Kelce. And the reason I like the over on the reception props with Kelce so much is my guess, and again, this is just me, trying to break down how this game's going to go. But no matter what strategy the Bucs use on defense, it's still kind of Kelce proof, like for him to be shut down. Because if they choose to blitz a ton, which they were one of the most blitz heavy teams in all the NFL the entire season long, top 5 blitz heavy team in the NFL. If they choose to blitz a ton against Patrick Mahomes, one, he's awesome against the blitz as it is anyway. And two, Travis Kelce becomes the hot read, right? Like that's what Travis Kelce's done whenever there's been a ton of blitzing against Patrick Mahomes. And so it's just bink, dink, 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 dink over and over and over again. Well, let's say the Bucs decide, you know what? We're not going to blitz this quarterback, who's awesome against the blitz. He's awesome under pressure. We're going to sit back more in a zone and make him try to pick us apart that way. We're not going to give up the big play to Tyreek Hill. We're not going to allow that to happen. We're not going to put our guys in bad situations, so we're just going to sit back in zone. Well, that's the technique that the Bills tried to use against them 2 weeks ago. Well, what happened there? Travis Kelce just ran out 8 yards, turned around, Mahomes hit him right between the chest, and they just dink and dunk the ball down the field like that. Travis Kelce obviously got double-digit targets in the first half of that game, and I have him projected for close to 13 targets in this game. And so while he does have to be fairly efficient to get to the 8 catches on 13 targets, he runs very high percentage routes against these zones and things like that. And so he's not one of those dudes that's like, really streaking down the field all that often. That whenever, they have other guys for that. Travis Kelce goes and finds the holes in the zones and just plants down and allows them to kind of move the ball that way. And so I really do like the over 7.5 receptions for Travis Kelce. Let's see. Asking about Scotty Miller over 1.5 receptions. So this is my gut, and this is, take this for what it's worth. I think Antonio Brown is going to be less of a factor than I think most people do. So my guess is Scotty Miller sees more run than a lot of people have him projected for. So I would lean to the over on that as well. The only reason I wouldn't put that in is like a big play and stuff, because again, I like to do stuff that I like to make these bets where I at least have some sort of numbers to back it up, some sort of, way that I can look at this and be like, this is exactly how this could go. Maybe Antonio Brown had some miracle recovery. Maybe they shoot him up with what all the greatest of good stuff. These NFL guys get the best pain stuff there is on the face of the planet. So maybe that knee is just numb all game and he's able to gut it through and just plays, the entire game and stuff like that. So maybe this knee injury is less of a factor than I'm giving it credit for, but he did have to miss a game because of it. And so I'm going to go ahead and go with, Scotty Miller plays a little bit bigger of a role in this thing. Steve is talking about a promotion that FanDuel has. So if you don't have a FanDuel account, again, you go here to the lines and just whenever you get up here, just find your state, like U.S. sports betting, and then just like find your state or whatever. So let's just, Michigan's new to the market. So hello everybody from Michigan, but see, like FanDuel's running this deal and you just come, all you gotta do is click this link, but it's 55 to 1. It's only a $5 max bet, but it's 5 to 275. So $5 turns into 275 for new customers. It is for only new customers. So if you don't have a FanDuel, if you already have a FanDuel account, you're out of luck. But if you don't have one, definitely take a look at that, because that's silly. I mean, 5 to 275, even though it is only a $5 max bet, is certainly worth looking at. Let's see. So Hector says that BetMGM said there's some people out here betting $2 million on the Bucs, and is there anything that's going on there? So one of the things we can definitely ascertain from Super Bowl betting, and this is historically and even more now with more legal markets coming into play, that bigger money bets don't necessarily mean that they are quote unquote sharp bets or bets from good bettors or, like guys that really know what they're doing. We're now in all kinds of legal markets, right? Especially even since the last Super Bowl. I mean, sports betting is live in Tennessee. Sports betting is live in Michigan. Sports betting is live in Illinois. Colorado since the last Super Bowl and stuff. So there's rich people that live in Chicago and Denver and Detroit and whatever, who now that they have a chance to be able to bet legally, they just do it, And so it's not just a big bet does not necessarily mean a quote unquote good bet or sharp bet or coming from, sharp money and stuff like that. Some of the stuff can actually be even attributed if you really go and you look at how these bets have come through. So there were some of these $1 million bets or even 6-figure bets, right? That, when you're betting that much cash, they were betting the Chiefs they were betting the Chiefs at -3 at -120, right? Like there were 115s, there were 110s available out there as far as the juice. And if you're like a savvy bettor, you understand like the juice when you're betting 7 figures, like that's a massive savings for you. Like that's a huge, huge, huge difference, but they didn't care. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of rich people, right? I mean, there's just a ton of rich people out there who they don't care that it's 120 as opposed to 110. I care, you care, but they don't care. So just something to think about whenever you see some of these big bets coming through, that it doesn't necessarily always mean that it's coming from sharp people or anything like that. Let's see. Coming down. Let's see. Evans anytime touchdown. Hill over 6.5 receptions. Chief convert. Yeah. So Tyreek Hill. I have over Tyreek Hill yardage for bigger than I have over for receptions, but I do have over on both of those. The reason I have a bigger on the yardage as opposed to the receptions is because Tyreek, the nature of his game, right? Like he can get us to the over on the yardage on 3 catches, right? Because that's what Tyreek Hill does. We've seen him go 70 plus yards multiple times. And so I like the yardage better than the receptions, but just I am on both in that one. Let's see. A little bit further here. Actually, I can also go in and make sure that I've talked about the rest of my props that I have for everything. I also have a prop that is available at MGM if you live in one of those markets. I have Leonard Fournette to score a touchdown and the Bucs to lose. So again, I'm on the Chiefs. We've talked about that a ton. So Leonard Fournette anytime touchdown price is plus 120. I'm getting plus 200 for the game to just play out like I think, right? So I'm getting an extra 80 cents for the game to just end like I think it's going to end. Leonard Fournette anytime touchdown plus 120. I'm getting plus 200 just for them to lose the game as well, which is what I think is going to happen. So one, I like the value from that aspect. Two, honestly, it's just a way that I think this game is going to play out. They've been using Leonard Fournette a ton more in the red zone here over the last several weeks. I don't know if they kept him fresh this season, for whatever reason. I have no idea. Or maybe he is the better receiver also out of him and Ronald Jones, which is the other thing. They've been using him in the pass game as well in the red zone. So anytime touchdown for Leonard Fournette and the Bucs to lose is another prop that I have. I have Mahomes over 2.5 touchdown passes, and that's mainly because, again, as we talked about earlier, which is the same reason I have him over 40.5 attempts, is because I just think they're going to throw the ball a ton. Like, I don't see this becoming a run. I don't see this becoming a run game at all for the Chiefs. I don't expect them to have much success on the ground when they do try to do it, and I think majority of the time they just opt to not do it. And so I have over 2.5 touchdown passes on Patrick Mahomes. I also have Bucs to punt more than the Chiefs. So I am on the Bucs to punt more than the Chiefs in this game as well. And then I also have a Patrick Mahomes MVP ticket. So this is a quarterback award, as you guys, well know. So I'm just going with the chalk here. I mean, listen, it's every time but one, it's been a person from the winning team. I think it's going to be the Chiefs, so it's got to be a Chief. 29 of 53 years, it's been a quarterback. Since 2000, 13 quarterbacks, 4 wide receivers, 3 linebackers, 1 safety. And of the last 14 that have been given out, 10 of the last 14 have been quarterbacks as well. So I'm just playing the odds here that if I like the Chiefs and the Chiefs are going to win, the MVP award is also going to go to Patrick Mahomes. So going with Patrick Mahomes in that one. So just if you guys, if you think the Chiefs are going to win, that's a way to go about it as well. And if you like the Bucs, I would go Tom Brady. I mean, with this potentially being his last Super Bowl, remember, this is voted on by human beings, right? So it's one of the few times that narratives can actually come into play on this stuff. And so we're trying to read the minds of these voters and who, actually picks the Super Bowl MVP. Well, if the Bucs win, it's going to be Tom Brady, right? Unless he just has a putrid game and it's like they score 3 defensive touchdowns or something like that, which I don't think any of us think that that's going to happen either. Let's see. Got about 3 minutes left here, guys. So just let me know. Let me know if there's any other questions you guys have, and if not, I'll just kind of go over my final thoughts here. Look, the reason I'm on the Chiefs here, and this isn't even a shocker, but look, Patrick Mahomes, as we know, is already the most talented quarterback in the NFL. He is as skilled as anyone we've ever seen play that position, and he's almost defense proof, right? And like, as good as the Bucs defense was all season long, they blitz a ton, and Patrick Mahomes is awesome against the blitz. Literally a top 3 quarterback in the NFL against the blitz and under pressure. If they don't do that, then he's got this awesome weapon in Kelsey. So if they're going to sit back in his zone, he's got this awesome weapon in Kelsey. And then also at that point, you just kind of get the ball to Tyreek Hill in space and say, okay, good luck trying to tackle this dude. Right? And we saw this play out against the Bills as well. When they were sitting back in that zone, they just manufactured touches for Tyreek Hill. And somehow with 2 guys in front of him, he was taking the thing for 11 yards. Like, I just don't even understand the quickness and the agility and everything that goes on with Tyreek Hill is out of this world. And so really do like the Chiefs in this game. -3. Like I said, I'm going to get on the money line here shortly. I think it's about as good as it's going to get for us to get on the money line. And I like success from Patrick Mahomes passing the ball and getting it done through the air here. So no real thoughts on the total. I'm a little scared. I got to be honest. I am a little scared about betting the over because I have this thing in the back of my mind that maybe the Bucs don't do their part in this, which is why I didn't get on the total in this game. So it would be an over or pass for me if I was playing it, but I don't think I'm going to be getting down on it. So let's see. Oh, I see. So let's 42.5 passing attempts for Mahomes. Like I said, I think it's probably closer to 45, but it certainly narrows the margin for error, right? And the only thing is, I will say this, as far as the passing attempts for Mahomes, like, I think the game will be fairly close. Like, I think that it won't, get out of hand. But that being said, we at least need to play out here. If the Chiefs do get up big, right? If the Chiefs do get up a ton, like, we need for the 40.5 to get there, we need Patrick Mahomes to be throwing, some passes in the fourth quarter, to be throwing at least a few passes in the fourth quarter. But if they have a, 17-point lead, then, our bet might die on the over there because of a big lead. So, just something to keep in mind if you do think that the Chiefs could win this thing going away. If you think that they're going to maybe blow this thing out, then that passing, certainly the pass attempts prop becomes vulnerable at that point because they just kind of take their foot off the gas and slow things down. So just think about that as well for everything. Guys, I hope I got to your question if you had one. And again, there's other videos on the channel as well where me and Brad broke down some stuff. Talked about all the props that we have bet. Brad had some good props as well. So that video is on the channel as well. And then, of course, just talking about some other stuff. So be sure you can click on those videos and get some further thoughts on all that. And all the written breakdowns as well over on the lines. I'll do this one last time just to show you, just because, honestly, I think it's so cool. I really do love it a ton. Like if you go to the lines, and again, you just click on this prop finder button right here, and then you just type in, literally anyone's name, and then it'll pop up, all of the props and the numbers and stuff like that for, catered to your state, whatever your legal state is. You can pop it over to Michigan or something like that, and it'll show the books that are available in Michigan as well. So save you a ton of time for everything, and hopefully you can find the best odds, best use, and things like that. And of course, all of these are the sign up offers. So you just click on those as well if you want to do that. But written breakdowns and stuff over at the lines as well. And guys, really do appreciate all your support on the channel over the course of the season. We're going to keep things going with NBA, with golf, with baseball, and things like that. And so really do appreciate you guys being along for the ride for everything. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We do really good stuff here. Everything's free. Every single thing we do, even over on the website and all that, is free as well. Thanks, guys, and good luck on all of your bets. Enjoy Super Bowl 55.